I like this.
Dang, I wonder who this is. Huh. Oh, tasty. Wow. Huh. Who is
Oh, the manual fade.
Who is
Love
that?
Who is that? Who is that there?
I think that's Trusetto.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
we got Trusetto.
Soon to be
We've
well.
got
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Nathan Nast on the pod today. How we doing, sir?
Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm good. I'm good. You know, nothing makes me more comfortable than 3 cameras pointed at me and around 4 boys I love. So
Hell yeah.
thanks for
Happy
having
to
me
be
on.
here.
Of course.
Yeah.
Welcome to
The
Happy to
math's
make
math.
you as comfortable as
The
ever.
math's
as
math.
comfortable as ever. Welcome to episode 4 of the RADcast.
Wow.
We're back in this bitch.
We're keeping it going. January
more and more
edition.
Yeah, we're still
New
doing
year.
it. 4 episodes in.
4 episodes. Yep.
Looks
New
nice.
Year 2025.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm getting some good comments and feedback.
We're getting
on
some
the
good
Rad-
feedback, some positive
Radcast.
feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
Reviews are
Yeah.
in.
Views
The reviews
are
are in. It's
Yeah.
not terrible.
It's not terrible.
My mom watches every episode.
Good. Good.
She
No,
critiques my facial hair, all kinds of
legit,
things.
I don't know if I want Linda watching the Radcast. We get in the mix a bit.
Yeah, my parents are not.
No.
They,
I told my team at work today that I do a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, send us something."
Let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Then.
Like, how
Not a-
about no?
Not a chance.
Yikes.
Not a chance.
But it's fun.
It
been
is.
good.
We're doing
Yep.
good.
Yep.
I think we still got the music going, by the way. I don't know if that's...
oh.
there we go.
We faded.
Yep.
We didn't
Well,
fade
we're,
enough.
yeah, we weren't fully in it yet.
Yeah.
We didn't fade enough. How the hell are you guys? How was New Mexico?
Man, just got back.
Just got back.
Quick. It was
Just
like it didn't even
touchdown.
happen. Yep.
Yeah, it was
900
cool.
miles in 3 days.
Yeah, it was about
Loop
that.
it.
About
Yeah.
800. or so.
800?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was solid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close enough to Colorado where it's, hopefully we can turn it into something like Nebraska where we just kind of do these weekends down there because we got back at like 3
Yeah.
p.m. on
That was
Sunday.
nice.
It was just chilling.
Santa Fe, super vibey city, and
It was cold.
decent. Yeah, it was very cold. Decent turnout, and first time playing there.
It's
so-
always fun when your tour coincides with like an Arctic chill that comes across
Yeah,
the
that's
entire
fun.
United
That's
States.
fun.
Yep.
Good for ticket
Did not
sales.
hit any
yeah.
weather,
Yeah.
thankfully. Yep.
Yeah,
But Taos really popped off Saturday.
What's the music like? What's the scene down there? What's the vibe? What's the is it?
I think it's like cool. I mean, I thought Santa Fe and Taos were really interesting just from like almost like a cultural perspective because you have a lot of like Mexican influence and a lot of native influence and so to see those two cultures kind of like combine and coalesce and form this like New Mexico culture is really cool. It's like really artsy and all the Adobe
Oh my
buildings
gosh, the
are
houses
really
and
like
buildings are
everything
sick.
is
Yep.
it's really really cool.
Yep.
And the people were really nice and liked the music. I thought Santa Fe, they have this place we played was the Mystic. It was a little smaller because it was inside, but they have this great stage outside that Boombox played.
Yeah.
It like last year or something. So hopefully that's like a pathway there. And then we played this new spot in Taos called Dali K Taos, and it's like taking
Shout
over for like have you heard of the Mothership down there? Like it's like this hippie spot that like Keller Williams has played and like a
Okay.
couple
Yep,
of bigger
definitely.
acts and whatnot. But they've just started to not book like seasonal music during like the ski season. So this dude Ricky bought up this spot, and it's like it was huge, dude. It's like a 500 person like just stage venue. You could probably fit like 1,000 plus people in the whole place.
Yep.
But it was super cool. He had like 100
Yep.
people come out
Sick.
for the show. Yeah.
for a new market. That's
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
shout
we'll
out
take
to
it.
Lush.
Yeah.
Lush, our friend Lucia. She's just like brought a bunch of
Brings the
people down,
vibes.
and she just like was in the town, like talking to the locals, being
No,
like,
there's this
she's like,
band.
like 10 out of 10 of
She
the
brings
people
the
I've
vibe,
talked to
man.
today
Yeah.
are coming to the
Yeah.
show.
No,
She was
so
also one of the first people involved with the baker's hats, if I'm
Yeah,
not
she
mistaken.
was.
I
Yeah.
mean,
She was.
This
Yep.
is like it's fan stuff happening on
Spreading
the
out.
ground.
Yeah.
level.
grassroots.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Spreading
she-
those roots.
And she helps kick that shit off bigger than
Yeah.
almost anybody. Like I don't know that we would have the RADO aesthetic fully if it wasn't for like Lush getting in the mix and like leading the charge on that. It's pretty
Shout out to
fucking
her.
awesome.
Yeah, I feel like anywhere there's like a ski culture or like a snowboard culture, music kind of just goes hand in hand, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're gonna have a bunch of like hippie kids snowboarding, usually there's gonna be a decent scene there.
Give them something to do after that.
Give them something to do, man. And RADO did that, right?
We did that.
Yeah.
Damn
Sick.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, we'll
That's
be back.
Yeah.
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 Shout
more,
out.
more to be had on that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on? We had a big New Year's.
Yeah, that was fun. Armadillo Ranch.
Armadillo.
The Dillo. You came
I
down.
had- at the
you
Dillo.
came down.
I
dude.
had heard-
Have you been to the Dillo
I
yet?
haven't been to the Dillo.
All right, that's
Hey,
one we need you to
Nate,
come
you
play
gotta
the
get
trumpet.
there.
Dude,
gotta
I
get
had
there.
heard rumblings. I had heard rumors of this place, and it is wacky. It is cool, man.
How
It is.
wacky is a cool way to put
It's
it.
cool, man. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Wait till you
sent
try
it.
the cheese curds, bro.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you sent it down and back Friday night.
I did. I
That
sent it
was-
down and
dude,
back one night. Had a little Colorado Springs day
That's-
trip. Manitou
Friday,
Springs.
if you ask me, was an absolute barn burner.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just pure RADO injected into your veins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Just
4
high octane funk, fucking Jamtronica. It was great, man.
Yeah, that
was
was
great.
one of my favorite shows of the year.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
it felt like
Yeah.
we played really tight.
just
There's
did.
things
could
we had
hear
that
everything
break.
super well.
Yeah, could hear it super well. The vibes are high there. People we know, but then also just having that break and that like refresh really feels like we locked in. So
Yeah, that was fun.
Mhm.
That was
yeah,
fun.
Just
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, night one was obviously excellent. Night two, you
Yep.
guys took some risks. You went out
Big
there,
risks.
my man Outer Rim Tim over here.
Outer Rim Tim with the space rock.
I don't know
opera.
what you're talking about.
Where?
Dude,
now?
when I
Have you listened
Outer
to it a
Rim
little
Tim
bit?
lives.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
did, I listened to it and I didn't think that was you at first. I'll
I
be
know,
honest.
you-
I was like, who the hell? They've got somebody else up on stage.
Is that accent? that like
Fill me in. What is
Yeah,
this?
so for those who don't know, let's give a little background.
Yeah, sure, for sure. So we did we're on the songwriting, episode of this. So I think that this
some
is really
themes.
great. Like we did a rock opera, down in Manitou Springs. I think we've talked about it a little bit, and like you've heard bits and pieces of it.
Totally.
You've played around on one or two of the songs, like Outer Rim. You remember that song we did at Lot 46? So like essentially, what we did was like debut this like version of our rock opera and had Maart narrate the whole entire like in
whole
between,
story.
and we told the story of the Outer Rim, which is like this crazy like dystopian society and planet that like a bunch of people that you want to tell
where,
it? I mean,
where people don't go by choice.
I think Lucia,
but out of necessity.
Lucia actually said it best. She was like, the Outer Rim kind of feels like East Colfax a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, for those of you that live in Denver, it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of weird characters there.
Yep.
There, it's a place where people make it or they break it, dude.
But it's all based off of my initial like we debuted a rock opera there, like the first part of it last year called Jeffrey Purdue, which is this like really smart person that wife dies and he builds a robot cyborg to replace her.
as one does.
As one does,
Yeah,
but
pretty
then he
normal.
has to journey to the Outer Rim because he cannot he wants to build a family, but he doesn't have the funding to do so, and he knows that the only place that he can go to like acquire this funding is within the bounds of the Outer Rim, and he meets this guy Jimbo Bags that funds the project, and it's just this whole story, and it was really cool because Maart was involved in it, and he told it from the narrative of Outer Rim Tim, which was this dude that was like at the Outer Rim and saw all this shit come down, and he's in Manitou like telling a warning to the people of what he saw.
So are you speaking between songs and giving
Yeah.
narration?
Yes.
Okay. And then are there lyrics in these songs?
Yeah,
or-
all the
okay.
songs are like full lyrically based around the Outer Rim.
Dylan and I got together in the weeks leading up to the show, and he gave me this tome, that he'd been working on, and it was just like pages of, what's the Outer Rim and who these characters were.
Crazy stuff.
And it was just this like totally its own world that you could lose yourself in. And he was like, "Come on in."
What goes
He
on
invited-
in my head, bro?
Invited me in.
The ramblings
and was
of
like,
a-
I don't know if I want to go in there.
help me string this thing together. And I think it ended up being really fun.
It was really fun. It was a great first
awesome.
swing. Like
And
I thought
we
that
did this.
was
Yep.
I have to give these guys credit. I think it's a big risk, obviously.
yeah. It was a
to do
fucking
this-
bar,
to do-
right?
it's, it's a captive audience at a bar on New Year's Eve, and they are. Listen, Somebody's been overserved.
Oh my fucking god!
It's a captive audience at a bar on New Year's Eve, and we're like, no, we're gonna do an extended 2-set narrational rock opera for you guys. And everybody there was not only just like having open to that, but so engaged and making this Outer Rim really come to life. Jeffrey Purdue come to life, I think, for the first time, in its entirety, at least as it is until this point. And then there's a third part, so get ready for that.
To be continued
When's that? When's the third?
this year.
TBD.
Okay.
None of it's been written, so
Yeah,
we're
but
working on it.
It's this year. We'll set that
That's awesome.
intention.
How much? When I was listening to that, I wondered how much are you improving that speech? How much of it was planned? You seemed cool, calm, and collective, man.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot that we had planned out in advance, and there was some, improvisational stuff that happened, but I think there was a lot of careful crafting and planning that went into that.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you're, we're basically kind of a remote band sometimes. Like I'm zooming in to chat with these guys, or we're getting the time in that we have face to face. And I think the end product was really rewarding and special
Really good.
to be a part of. So.
Yeah, really good.
Thanks,
Super
guys.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, you crushed, man.
Yeah, Matt did an incredible,
Outer Rim Tim Tim.
incredible job.
yeah.
It was hard to hear on the stage when we were doing it, but it
Kevin, the sound guy, needs to really.
No, well, and it was also you're checking the vibe of the crowd because I'll be honest, we started it and we went into the narration and it was 5 people left right away, and I was like, oh no, are they going to be into this? Like Matt said, it's a risk, right? So that was a little bit of a mental journey for me to fight through when we were debuting it, because I thought everybody I wanted
your
5
soul, right?
people to
This
come
is-
in. You
this
know what
is
I mean?
your-
Not 5 people
Yeah.
to leave, which is that's just the journey of being an artist and whatnot.
I'm sure we'll talk about this when we get to songwriters, but a lot of what I think what goes into songwriting is your own emotions and your own experience, even if it's translated. You're putting yourself out there, and this is your art, and that's you're naked out there, bro.
Yeah.
for
You're
sure.
vulnerable
But
when you
you-
do
but you
something like that.
But you coded me well.
Yes.
I will say a similar thing that happens in my band Trusetto is I'll write a lot of the music, but Carly, our singer, or Aaliyah, will sing it, and there is a sense of separation that allows me to write in a way that's more protected, to where maybe I wouldn't be comfortable bringing that type of song if there
That's cool.
wasn't
No, that's cool.
someone
Love
else
that.
singing it.
And they're female.
That's
which
fucking
is
awesome.
Kind of you can play with that dynamic of really tapping into just full emotional exploration and femininity, which I think songwriting really stems from in a huge way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they have incredible voices.
Yeah, they really do. I'm a romantic and a sap at heart. And
Got you. That's gotta be.
Yeah,
to
you
write
gotta
good
be.
songs,
And
man.
everyone,
Especially as a musician.
everyone is. They just don't show it. But
Or know it.
there's just there's a sense of being able to have someone that knows you so well, to who's singing it, that can encapsulate that feeling.
Yeah,
Bring it to
it
life.
breaks down some of the walls that you might have otherwise.
Totally.
Yeah.
So does that make you the lyricist in some ways, or the songwriter? I guess.
Yeah, let's
right?
talk.
For
Yeah,
the-
let's talk Trusetto a little bit.
talk
Yeah.
about it.
Tell us about the band. What's the
Yep.
setup, Nate?
Who
For
are
those
ya?
that don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to answer that question first, I write a lot of the lyrics. I'd probably write half of the music. Nick Jones, our guitarist, writes the other half, and but that's not a good representation of really how the songs are made, because, as you know, when you practice these songs over and over again, ideas come out of everyone in the band, and whether it's their instrument or our bassist Hank will do something on bass, and we're like, that we have to do that as a horn line, and that becomes a counter melody, and so it evolves in different ways. But yeah, we're a 6 to 8 piece band.
I like this.
Sometimes
variation.
9. I've
Depending on the
sat
day.
in.
but for 5 years we were an 8-piece band. Just some folks have gone on to different things in their life, but we have 2 flutes, which sets us apart. We're
Denver's premier
Two
flute
flute.
band.
that's right.
Correct?
We're the best
Yeah.
2
Think
flute
I heard
band
right?
in Denver.
Wow.
But
It's
Perhaps
a
only.
big.
yeah,
Perhaps
Yeah.
only.
The.
which is cool.
The best.
It's pretty cool.
the best.
Yeah.
We'll just go ahead and stamp it on the RADcast. Check that. The best, not just premiere, the best.
Yeah, and our 2 lead singers are sisters, which just makes for amazing energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, they grew up singing together, and you know they play flute because
Are they twins?
They're not twins.
Nope.
No.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
That would have been great.
Would have been great.
Insane.
yeah.
2 flutes, 2 sisters, and twins.
That would be crazy.
Yet we're still premiere, and they're not even twins.
Still the best.
yeah.
When are you guys doing the real world Trusetto? Like, when are we gonna get cameras inside of the band room and see how you guys live?
Trusetto real world.
That would be great.
Behind the music.
That would be great. I mean, it's actually something I wanted to bring up here and get y'all's thoughts on this because we, as a band, all get along so well, and the banter and the humor, it's all there.
Yeah.
And with you guys, it's like every musician I meet has that, but there's also just this special connection, and I feel, especially with improvised music, the way you talk, the way you give space to people, you transition in conversation actually really translates to music. And so, you know, when we're just bantering, it feels so natural, and it feels like once you get, it's really nice to have that before going into practice, and then you go in and you kind of.
So what is like the banter in Trusetto? Like what
There's
like
some
who's
tea.
kicking it off? Like what's
There's-
going on? I'm curious of the dynamic.
Well, when you
of
have
it.
6 to 8 people, you
Yeah,
know,
there's a lot of shit
lot of
going
people
on,
talking.
dude.
but
Nathan's like, I'm the smart, funny, beautiful one.
everyone's very smart, not so beautiful. No, just kidding. Everyone's very good looking.
Dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
it's a handsome band.
We're
you
all
know?
just
Yeah.
in
Oh
love.
yeah, you guys look great up
We're all
there.
just
Yeah.
in love with each other. Is the truth of it.
Oh, that's great.
Wow,
dude.
the truth comes out.
I started hanging out with
Truth
RADo because
Trusetto.
of the sex
Truth.
appeal. That's what got me in it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
But yeah, the banter just comes from. There's a lot of dad jokes. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things
And you got a
that I
dad
wouldn't
in
say
there.
on this podcast, and
Mhm.
everyone has a similar sense of humor. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's important. I mean, I think that like the best music comes out of like just being able to like vibe out with like your friends, you know?
Yeah,
what I
man.
mean?
Totally.
Like, it
Well,
really-
it's a lot of time to spend together, especially touring.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have to actually like enjoy being around these people and know how to have a good time together. And
for sure,
Yeah, that road time. You'll get to know each other very well.
yeah.
Punk mates.
But so with Trusetto, but you mentioned the live element, and is there a fair amount of, would you say, because when you have 6 to 8 members in a band, right, there has to be a little more structure, a little bit more, I guess.
yeah, who's the
It's-
boss? Like,
Yeah.
give us the scoop, dude.
It's like the
I mean, if I had to pick
He's
someone,
gonna say myself, baby.
no. I mean,
Oh, you're speaking to dad.
we all look to our guitarist Nick Jones. Kind of has this parental figure, and I say that in the nicest
That's
way.
good.
Shout out
Yeah.
Nick.
Need band dad.
and
yeah.
you said he's a chief part of the songwriting as well, right?
Oh, shit, is that my mic? Or is that
I
your
think
mic?
it's mine.
He's a huge part of the songwriting. Yeah, like some of our favorite songs, my favorite songs are his songs, and he's like just an incredible writer, prolific in like what he comes up with. But we have this thing in the band where it's like you get a nod from Nick, that means like you did good.
Oh,
Ah.
nice. A
Like
Nick
he's
nod?
very he doesn't show a lot of emotion while he's playing, but you know if you're doing a solo or something and he turns and he's just like
Yeah, you get that.
it's everything.
Very
That's the pat on the back.
It's
yeah.
like a
Does he
little
ever-
smirk too. He
Yeah.
has like a.
Does he ever?
Yeah.
Does he
Yeah.
ever turn and he's just like, give it back to the sister?
Yeah.
Or like something.
No,
run it,
but-
run it back, run it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
kind of
like a
know.
proud father.
kinda know.
Like a proud.
It's just
a
that
proud dad.
But
See-
it's hive mind shit. Like you know
Yeah.
Sure.
when you did a 6 solo, or you know when you came up with something, and you kind of look around to get validation. But like in you yourself, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you guys do a
Yeah.
lot of like your improv happens in a lot of like more big, as you would have to in a big band, like
Structured.
via structured solos,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, you know, Nick takes a solo, and you know, you guys may like come up with like a couple of lines around it to support it, or is it like? I guess walk me through it, because I am always curious how that
Yeah.
dynamic works. You know.
Yeah, well, like I'm in the horn section. I'm a trumpet player, and within the horns, if there's a keys or guitar solo, we're kind of towards the second half of the solo trying to find a lick that can accent it and peak it into what we know is another structured segment. But we early on in a song's life, you kind of try different things live, and one of those things might end up becoming like a counter melody or something. But you know, when Nick is soloing, we'll not kind of be like whispering to each other like, like, you know, whatever.
I
Some
love
fucking
that.
weird shit.
Dude,
And-
I have always wondered that with like horn like sections, like because there is that like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Right.
And is it like at a certain point are they talking like we'll do like the third and the seventh flat and then we'll drop to the fifth? Like
Yeah.
if you're talking like jazz music, it's like. Or is it like that? Because that's how I would be. I'd be like, let's hit them with the shabba deep bop.
Totally. And then
Yes.
and then you know Zaina or sax player will like lean over and be like, well, what if we did da 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 da?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's good. Let's do that.
so
Like,
That's
funny.
it.
and then you know we kind of when
So
you
that's what you guys are whispering about out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Just a bunch
The
of
whole
skibbity
time.
dibbity doo da.
But it is interesting because it's a dance because it's like in a certain part of the solo, you know, as a bandmate that you're kind of maybe halfway through it, and that's when the conversation starts within the horns.
Yeah.
And you want to try. We try to take a lick that Nick's doing or Charlie's doing or whoever's soloing, and that's what inspires it. So he'll do something in the middle of his solo, we hear it, and we're like, that's a perfect peak horn line to do over that.
Nice.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. But it doesn't always work as well, you know, and that's
Got to try stuff and go for
you
it,
gotta try stuff.
and then you find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we do that a bit with when we're debuting new songs. It's like cool. We've ripped it a few times in practice and have a general good idea. But when we play it and perform it live and bring it to the actual stage, then that's when the magic really happens and you come up with new parts.
Yeah.
We got AV coming through here.
Yeah.
Look at
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Shout out to Logan.
There
Camera
he
Jams
is.
right here. Fixing on the spot.
Man behind the scenes.
Yep, we got a bad cable, so we got that fixed right on the spot. He's patching it up. The man of the hour right here.
Man of the hour.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, and that's
So
part of the songwriting and like the creation too.
Yeah.
There's the pre, there's
Somebody
the doing,
stop
and-
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's always what it sounds like at practice before it's played live is it's like always almost as if we're open to it being way different ultimately because
Sure.
you don't know what it's like to write a song and keep that in the in the basement, right? Like that just doesn't. You're not connecting it to the dots of like the human beings that are like listening to the song.
Yeah,
so,
are people liking it? Are they like,
So
what
we
is
like
this?
right. So like we
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah, what
actually
works, what doesn't
use
work.
the
Uh-huh.
Armadillo Ranch for like a big like testing ground of song because
Yep.
we know that like the people there really love RADO and they support us. So like we'll test out a song there and we usually know if it's like great, it like this is going to be a big song. And sometimes I mean they're pretty honest too because sometimes they come out and it's like. I mean, I remember one time we debuted a song, and I think everybody walked outside for a second.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
That's when we're gonna,
Well,
and
I will
that's when
take
we
that
learn
back to the drawing board.
the hard way to start introducing any new song that we play. Hey, this is gonna be a new one. I'm gonna need everybody's attention for a little while. Please do
Please
not
stay.
walk out. I forget which song that was.
That's also something that I really like respect about your band is you do test things out and you play a lot. So
Yeah.
you have kind of the reps where we are a little more. I don't know if it's because we have a lot of members or what it is, but we kind of take more time between our shows.
Yeah.
And it's really just in practice, and we have to just believe if.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, it feels like a Trusetto show is a special event. You know, it's like you guys are getting together.
And part of
tonight's
that,
the night.
Part of that we do on purpose. Yeah, just for draw.
which is dope. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the sauce.
Yeah, and we don't really travel outside the state, so same people are coming out. We want to make sure there's new music, there's something they're coming out for.
And where do you fall though in terms of the songwriting in Trusetto? And you guys just hopped in the studio, correct, for the first album?
Yeah.
Where do you kind of fall when it comes to the songwriting and bringing stuff to the table? Is that primarily your role? Do you guys kind of all write music together? To kind of walk me through how song creation generally goes.
Sure. Well, quick plug because he brought it up.
Yep.
Our album will be out February 22nd.
Oh,
Yeah. Check it out. Check it out.
Somewhere
Subscribe.
Twice.
Somewhere twice.
Somewhere
Somewhere
twice.
Where can they find it?
They can find it everywhere. Literally everywhere.
Everywhere. Just
Yeah,
try.
Just look under your couch. You'll find our album.
Wow, I'm gonna try that
Coming
one
to
later.
a home near you.
Yeah. But the songwriting, it's usually Nick, the guitarist, or I. I'll stop saying Nick, the guitarist. You'll know by now.
Nick plays the guitar in the band.
Yeah.
Nick Jones. Nick Jones.
Nick Jones.
Ho!
Uh,
Betty's never got that before.
we have, and I want to talk to you guys about this too. It's like we just send shit to each other and we come up with an idea, but early on in the songwriting process, we know to not get we don't give feedback on each other's songs immediately. We want the person who wrote it to keep doing it, but we still want validation.
Of course.
Right.
Ooh.
So it's like, this is great, keep going kind of thing. If I send him something, he sends me something. And then it'll get to a point where it's like, all right, we got a verse, a chorus, maybe a bridge. We've got the vocal melody, maybe some horn melodies around it. Here's the vibe of it. Now, I'm like, Nick, I need a bridge. He's really good at writing bridges. Like, what can you hear here? Hear. And
Well played.
and that's just like the beautiful thing about songwriting with people is sometimes you need the validation, at least I do, and I'm working on it, and also just another mind on it to just shift your perspective because
New ideas.
And what do you guys think about this? Because when I get an idea back from someone, my immediate thought is like, I don't like it because I didn't come up with it and it's my song.
Don't look at me.
Is this real?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But that's just like right when you hear it, right? And then you literally take 5 minutes, you come back to it without the ego, and you're like, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah. We
Oh yeah.
we have adopted this year a great mantra that is be curious, be different, and be prepared. So
Love it.
being
Amen.
curious, I think, falls into that. It's like a
Yeah.
the yes and concept, right? The bubble of
Putting
positivity.
the ego
or whatever,
aside
right?
and
Like just like being like, all right, well, I don't fucking like that idea. Probably gonna sound like shit, but we'll try it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't sound good.
Yep.
And that's fine. It's like it was a waste of 5 minutes to do something that satisfied somebody else's point of view.
Yeah.
I have gotten a lot better about that. I think maybe not.
You have no.
Sometimes
I'll give you some snaps.
I feel the worst for Benny because like the way that I write a lot of songs is like I like to do loops. Like I love to do like a loop jam.
Shout out to Loops.
No, like for real. Like that is one of the best way to
Oh, yeah.
write music.
Dude,
It's
you go
like
to town
getting
on that
into
loop
like
station.
Ableton or getting in to my loop station to be able to like put something down, create a bass line, create a drum sound.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like I create a drum sound and Benny fucks with it as he should because he's a creative
Oh, yeah.
individual. But
I'm
it's
trying
like
to find my sound.
right,
Yeah.
but like
Oh,
where
yeah.
it gets dicey is where it's like, dude, we are just starting this song with the band. I need it to sound like with how I hear it in my head, or else I'll never be able to convey this song to you guys.
Right.
Because what I do is like, I bring a lot more like raw products to the situation where it's like, I don't have horn lines written. I don't have like necessarily like a bridge written. It's more just like, here's a sick loop. I've got like some I got a verse, like a really sick hook. Like I'm really about writing like really great catchy choruses. That's one of my favorite things to do. Like a couple quick lines where you're just like, yes, that's my
Get 'em
shit.
hooked.
But like what that does is allow us to create, but what it doesn't allow me to sometimes open up to right away is releasing the loop in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is hard to do, especially because I look at Ben, I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, the drum beat is like boom, cack,
Yeah.
boom, cack. What are you doing with all these crazy, awesome
Yeah.
fills? And
Right.
I feel bad because it's like I damper his creativity in a way, but
Yeah.
I think we're figuring out how to like me not just be like, you'll play it like this, and Ben's also figuring out how to just be like, I need to support Dylan's vision on this initially so it can land with the band, and then I can do
It's like,
what I
how do
want.
you leave your mark on it while still not stepping on the toes of others?
Because you
right?
want to allow, like, because to Nate's point, I think collaborating is like, I'm a big proponent of collaboration. I think the best, as we'll talk about, like singer songwriter, like individuals that have ever graced this earth come from duos or come from like a Lennon McCartney situation,
That's a
right?
great
like
point. Yep.
it's like Simon and Garfunkel,
Hunter
right? Like
Garcia,
these human
yeah.
beings, like you need to be able to connect and collaborate and try your idea on somebody else, or it's
That's a
just
great
your
point.
idea, you know.
Something
Yeah.
I heard from Travis Book, who's the songwriter, one of the songwriters and bassist of Infamous String Dusters, who I actually got to video chat with over COVID, which was super
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
That's
And so-
sick.
He's such a great guy.
amazing guy. He said, I forgot where I saw it, but that when you bring your song to the band, it's no longer your baby. Like, so you have to be very cautious of when you bring it. And when you bring it to the band, you can like dictate your non-negotiables within the song of like, I hear it with this drum beat and that's it. And you know, and you state that, but as soon as you let go of it, it's now the song's band,
Yeah,
the band's song.
band
Jesus
songs,
Christ.
band song.
Yeah.
Sounded good though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Beautiful.
heady, dude.
Phonetically, that did
I'm
sound
with
No,
you.
That
that's-
does sound better.
It's the song's band.
You've
It's-
birthed
but it's
songs,
that's
man.
it's so interesting, right? It's
Honestly,
like,
that's
Yeah.
that's
The
almost
release-
more true to the statement.
Yeah.
Right.
and honestly,
It's so true, yeah.
talking about
Songs,
vulnerability
band.
too.
Yeah.
You bring it to the band, and now you're opening yourself up to criticism. You're opening yourself up to all these changes
Oh,
of
yeah.
this thing that you've deemed perfect in your head already.
As
or-
all of y'all's therapists watching in on this right now, I'm very proud of you. that are, learning these ways to
Snaps.
problem solve through your
Yeah.
creativity, and
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. Honestly, that
It is.
I think a lot of people, they don't have that skill or don't know how to flex it at least.
And it goes back again to the interpersonal relationships of not only being able to jam together, but be able to like have conflict resolution and
Yeah.
think through
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
trust. I mean, it's the trust situation as well, because writing is so emotional, right? Like you really, regardless of like, the outer rim and all this shit's like been really cool to write about because it's nothing about me per se, but there's
Right.
bits and pieces of me sprinkled in. Like I feel
I
distance.
don't know, dude.
And
I've
I feel
got
desolate,
theories.
and
I think
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
lot about you. Your subconscious.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is ultimately,
But you're right. Like
but
writing
you have-
sci-fi
yeah,
is different than pouring your
But
soul
you
out.
need to
Yep.
be able to trust that, like, but even in that scenario, right? Like, you need to be able to trust somebody with, like, here's some of the real life shit that I see. Like, will you guys be open to like me writing a song about like love or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
more emotional.
Ew.
And will you be more open to me writing this fucking crazy thing that
Yeah.
makes like maybe no sense to anybody
is also
except for
about
my
love.
stuff? Yeah, it
It is
is.
about
Everything is
And
about
It
love.
truly is.
Yep.
And a true song, like
Yep.
in my mind, a true songwriter, which we'll get into
Love
here
is
because I have
real.
more Trusetto questions, but a
Oh,
true
yeah.
songwriter, in my mind, what defines it is somebody who can take a topic like love or life or loss,
Yep.
a topic that we all know very closely and is the most written about topic of all time, but make it unique to them. How can you use words that haven't been used? I'm getting excited. I'm getting revved up.
I love it. I love it. Matt wanted
Yeah,
to
it's a
hit
really-
you with a fat interruption.
really
What do
good
you have
question.
to say?
Yeah, so I'm
you
by-
took a huge deep breath. What do you have to
What's
say?
up?
What you got? What you got?
Are we talking about songwriters yet?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Well, let's ask. We
I
can
got
do
a
a couple
few-
more
I
Trusetto
got a
questions.
few more because I
Couple more.
want
We
to
ain't
know.
done.
I want to dive a little bit deeper into like the recording process of the album.
Yeah.
We will get to songwriters because I'm itching too. I got some shit I want to get off my chest. But,
Okay.
That.
Shit I put on your chest.
And that's why moms don't tune into the RADcast.
I heard you worked with some pretty heavy hitters though on this album. Did you? Who'd you work with in terms of recording it? Walk me through.
So we
like, the
worked at
recording.
name drop.
I will, definitely. Our album was recorded at Colorado Sound, which is like Westminster area.
Yeah.
Kevin, and I'm blanking on his last name. I'm sorry, Kevin. You'll never watch this anyway.
Or will he?
He is a Grammy Award-winning producer, and
Maybe a good guy's last name to remember.
Kevin.
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 Just Kevin.
Kevin.
But it's honestly just the kind of guy
Kevin
he is because
McKevinson.
he had no ego. He was just kind of your classic like laid back hippie dude that knows so much. He won the Grammy for like one of Gladys Knight's albums.
Oh, sick.
Damn.
He recorded part of D'Angelo's album with the shirt off. whatever
Yeah.
the fuck that
God
was.
Yeah.
damn, the dude that had
Modest Yahoo,
Sitting
King
on
Without
that
a Crown,
backbeat, dude.
Justin
Okay.
Timberlake, like
Angelo?
fucking
God
everyone. And the huge shout out to Don who
Let's go,
mixed
Don.
he was the engineer on our album, and
Yeah.
he put in the most work and was just so patient. And
nice.
we had a lot of notes, a lot of things that we wanted, and everyone in the band, like I think why our sound is the way it is because we all are kind of perfectionists on our instrument, but as a sound as a whole. And it took a long time, like over a year and a half to make this album, but we're super proud of what we
Damn,
did.
I'm pumped to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
dude.
when
Yeah.
you walk in there, is everything to a T already planned? Like, are you a meticulous like? Here's our agenda. This is what we're sticking to it, or was there
Time is
any-
money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or is there any element of like, we'll just figure this out when we get there?
We had never really recorded in a studio like that, so we knew we were gonna have to like figure some shit out. But a lot of it was we ran the album like we would run a set for a long time at a warehouse, Epic Brewery warehouse.
Hell yeah. I remember
Thank you,
that. I
Epic.
remember that
Yeah,
spot.
That
We
place was
jammed there.
crazy.
Yeah.
We were not supposed to be there, and
What? You just set up an eight-piece band in a place
we
you
got
weren't
like
supposed to play
low
music?
key.
That does
Nathan's just
approval.
jumping in through the windows with a trumpet and a bass guitar.
Knows a bartender.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, it was funny because like this is kind of out in Commerce City, and you know it's just all warehouses, so everyone's just unloading and loading shit, and all of a sudden we're playing music and you see like some workers just like turning around being like, what the fuck is over there? And, we're like, just
Trusetto.
fucking smoking
Eight-piece
outside.
band.
That's
It was
so
just-
funny.
It was so funny.
Well,
but-
that beats Rocket Space. You know, could you guys leave some of your
Yeah.
stuff there? If you
Yeah,
wanted
we
to?
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
until it flooded.
Oh, no.
Buzzkill.
That's a whole nother story. I don't know if I don't want to get
Not
into
rad.
trouble, but
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
rad.
it's not-
Not rad.
we
Are we talking?
rad.
Are we talking like a cool flood or like a Noah's Ark type situation?
It was like a pipe fitting.
In
40
somewhere in
days, 40
between.
nights. Yeah.
It was like a pipe fitting on a toilet broke, and they blamed it on us. And some guy.
They blamed it on you.
They're like, it must be the 8-piece jazz band.
Was it the plastic?
Right.
Was it the
Dave
plastic?
might have been
Matthews
us.
would have done it.
Yeah.
like the sisters are taking huge dumps.
2 flute dumps. Yeah. But
Well.
I mean, let's get into it. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
the person who, I think it was next. It was the spot next to where we were held like our gear ransom to pay for the damage.
No, they did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hostage
They're
situation.
It was a
blackmailing you.
hostage situation.
Oh my.
We
Like,
have
you
the
broke our
trumpet. We have the
toilet.
trumpet.
We're
But also-
going to take up.
I don't
your
think they were
fourth-
affiliated with Epic Brewery. I don't think they were affiliated with fucking anyone. So I think we just
Who
were
were
like,
these?
Toilet
Who were
hostages?
these people?
Yeah, who are we talking?
yeah,
Not
I don't know.
rad.
All right. Well,
It was strange, but like we
That was
pushed
your
back a little
experience
bit.
with the Russian mob of Denver.
yeah.
We should make a song about it. Is what
You
we
really-
were
I mean,
yeah.
that's
I
got
mean,
a song.
damn right
written
you
all
should.
over it.
Yeah.
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 It's those weird things that pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This always has opportunity for a song.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. We like brought in a huge couch, lights, and it was so we ran the album there for a long time. And then the recording process was you lay down a scratch track. One of the songs we didn't have a click to, so that took, some time to do. And then
Had a choice, didn't have a click, or
yeah, we had like 3 different segments in the song that switched tempo, and it was just way too hard to count out.
yeah.
You
Yikes.
You
could
guys
Like
remember
map
recording
it.
the river? Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could be like 164 bars
We
in,
cut
it
it.
changes like 3 BPM, and it's like
Yep.
fuck that. Let's just do it without a without a click.
Oh,
Yeah.
We dropped the click and then cut the part. We spent like 2 hours doing it. And it was funny. I like
God, that was
jinxed
bad.
ourselves. Logan will remember it. I walked inside. I was
Logan's
like,
one of the
first-
"Oh, we're doing an easy song today, Logan. We've played it a
Fuck.
bunch, and it
Right.
was. It took like 8
we've gotten
hours.
quicker.
Yeah.
We've gotten quicker. Pocket
Yeah.
therapy.
Pocket therapy was
Yep.
chill.
Do you guys? What we did was we doubled a lot of our instruments, and that was actually out of the suggestion of the Grammy Award-winning producer. Was if
Kevin.
you really want Kevin,
Kevin.
Yeah, shout out
Kevin.
Yeah.
Could be good advice to take.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Double
But at the same
instruments.
time,
We didn't-
I
we
will
didn't
say
do that.
we ended up not doubling a lot of the things. Some of the horns, some of the vocals were just not in sync, and it seemed weird. But listening back, like some of the instruments doubled sound so much like you put it in stereo, doubled, stereo,
Yeah.
doubled,
yeah.
and it sounds so good. Like it
Yep.
sounds really full.
Huh.
Did that with my old band, Something Utopic, way back when. Rust Belt
You don't remember the name?
Studios.
Something utopian.
Yeah, it was something like that. But yeah, no, we did like the full stereo effect and everything at Rust Belt Studios, and that's
Yeah.
where like Kid Rock recorded and shit like that, and very similar experience.
yeah.
That was so tight.
Kid
But it-
Rock,
it-
clout, dude.
Dude.
No,
Isn't he
that's-
like the Secretary of Defense now?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so well, like
my
God. Already been
what's cool
confirmed.
is like with the stereo
God,
thing, they would have like in different solo sections, like have the sax over here and the trumpet over here, and
I like that in music.
it's
Like when you're
very cool.
listening.
It's
Yeah.
very cool because like everyone now, hardly anyone is listening to music on speakers. Like let's be honest, like everyone has headphones in or you're in the car, and
I'm bumping at home all the time.
I knew
Well,
that.
speaker
I
system
knew
in
that.
every
I
room.
knew that
Generally agree
exact
with you,
phrase
but you have two
was
speakers.
coming
But
from
you have
Ben
two
just
speakers,
then.
Ben.
Like verbatim.
I
Like
think
just
a lot of
knew-
people-
I got
I'm
speakers.
just surprised the words
All
fat
around,
weren't used.
yeah. But I'm a unique one.
but you have two speakers, so it's
Yeah.
still stereo.
Two
What I'm
speaker
saying
house.
is,
There's
like-
still analog people out there, the vinyl culture, but for the most part,
I got
Yeah.
some
Big old
round
comeback.
It's on the
sounds.
phone, dude.
yeah,
We
it's on
test-
your phone. It is.
We test
it's
a lot.
Spotify.
Our end test of like if we like the mix on like a song that we recorded is I'll just listen to it on my phone like for like 5 times, to make sure like I can hear everything really clearly because that is the medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That people
Yeah.
are actually like you have to really like a band to queue it up on a
To get in the queue on the
system.
Bluetooth.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? To be like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw this on. This
and
is
for
my
most
shit,
people,
other than
too.
just being like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm
but-
just checking
but
this
headphones-
out.
If they're gonna buy the record,
Yeah.
right?
Earpods.
Buy the record and put it on hi-fi or
Yeah.
something, or actually purchase physical
Right.
music, which is
Yeah.
making a comeback.
Yeah.
That's another step, I think.
Watch out,
in
CDs.
the direction of like,
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
we
You know,
back. We
hey,
are
I want to invest in this. I'm gonna buy this because I
Yeah.
know I like it and I
Yeah.
want to listen to
Yep.
it again and I
100%.
want to have it.
I feel like vinyl's on the up.
Everybody
Dude,
loves vinyl.
Where
Right.
all my,
I
it's where
bought
all
Not
my money-
CDs,
it's where all
not
my money
cassettes.
goes, dude.
I got
can't-
vinyl.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
a big.
stop.
I,
dude.
I,
You're
yeah.
And it used to be an affordable hobby when no one gave a shit, and now I'm late to the party.
It
'cause I
happened
always
quick.
am.
Yeah.
And it's
happened
40
quick.
bucks a fucking vinyl. now.
Jesus.
And that
It's gonna be
shit
50
is
next
not
year, dude.
like-
and
Watch
it's
out.
but it like
And if it's a Grateful Dead box set, it's $250.
Good
so.
luck.
But anyways,
Tennessee Jed.
Yeah, Tennessee.
And you can only get it on 1 year.
well, and they make
On
it
one bid
exclusive.
into it,
That's what gets
like
you. They're
Maart
like, if you
was
don't
at the
buy it
wedding.
now, it's never coming back, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like,
Like,
record
Store
store
day.
day. It might not.
There's only 2
There's
copies
only
in the
2.
city of Chicago.
Yeah, it's the Wu-Tang
Fight.
record
Good
all
luck.
over again, dude.
Oh my that.
I'm a
Let's not talk
yeah,
about
let's
that.
not talk about that. I'm a sucker for rarity, though. If you tell me something's rare and they're like, you can only buy it right
I'm
now,
in.
I'll fucking buy it, dude.
Done.
Have you heard about the RADO nipple stickers?
Dude,
They're really
I own 10 of them, dude.
He
All
bought.
my nipples.
So the album is Somewhere Twice, out
Somewhere twice.
Feb 22.
Yeah, 222, which is
222.
twice.
If you need something for your girlfriend for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
yeah,
look no further.
don't get
Yeah.
that, but also listen to it.
Listen,
Go to a
But-
2-flute concert.
I will say, I'm
Have I got something for you, honey?
I do love the album name.
Yeah, that's
If-
great.
if
I
Yeah.
like
You
that a
You
lot.
like it? All right,
Yeah, I
what does
really
it mean
like
to
it.
you?
Ooh, putting me on the spot. I suppose it just makes me think of perhaps I was thinking more of like a deja vu.
That's what I was saying, or a nostalgic factor.
Yeah.
Scenario where
Yeah.
it's like you've been somewhere and you can't quite remember what it was because it's somewhere. It's not like, the
Yeah.
Pacific twice.
It's a
It's like
feeling.
it's very aloof and evasive but captivating at the same time.
So that's
Great answer.
exactly what we were going for. Like,
Nailed it. Give me
Yeah.
10 points. Okay. 10
because
points for
a lot of the
Gryffindor.
lyrics I write, a lot of the lyrics in the song Mirrors that we'll play is very like, it's hard to put your finger on or in. All right, let's cut that.
we don't cut it,
we
bro.
don't get that's
All right. Well, it's very
Shout out to the moms.
in the clouds, if you will.
Yeah.
And like you may think
dreamy.
Yeah, it's cool.
very
Yeah.
dreamy, and like this whole song Mirrors is like you kind of think you know what they're talking about, but you don't. And to me, like it goes really well with the instrumentation and the form of the song. But Somewhere Twice came from
I was just gonna say, I think some of the best songs are, something where you think you know what it's about, but
Yeah.
it could be it's a little bit ambiguous,
Yeah.
and it's for the person, right?
Exactly.
The art is for the individual that's hearing it.
exactly. It's like you give them enough, and then the music allows them to fill in the rest. You know.
Yeah.
And but Somewhere Twice, I was actually at a yoga class, and the yoga teacher said the best place I can go is Somewhere Twice, and she was talking about the pose that she's going into, and at first, we'll get to that. At first, like maybe you're uncomfortable in a pose, or even if you go to a friend's house and the first time you're a little uncomfortable. You're not very present, but when you come back the second time, you don't have that uncomfortable feeling, and you can really like settle into what it is. And so our songs, it's like your songs are very similar to where the first half is the form, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, whatever, outro, into a jam, and that's being Somewhere Twice. So the jam is Somewhere Twice. You know? And so all of our songs have that B section. And that's
How-
kind of
how
where
long
it came
you guys-
about.
Also,
that's
hidden meaning
awesome.
because
Yeah,
when you go to
that's so
when you
cool.
go to see a band twice, typically, it's
You-
that community, it's the
You
vibe.
get to know
yes.
you get
See
to
a
know
girl twice.
their
So the more you listen to it, the better it becomes.
Yeah.
Right. It's like this whole self-fulfilling prophecy.
yeah.
Man, that is
Pretty
It
cool,
is
man.
true.
Love that.
Boom.
That's beautiful.
Just like the lyrics, like we wanted a name that people can have it mean whatever they want it to mean, but at the same time have the music draw them into a direction that we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
love that.
So just to clarify, so it's like the jam part of the song is like the idea that this is now you've been to this place twice, so it's so comfortable that now we're feeling open to
Exactly.
Something so nice.
yeah.
The
The
jam's
only
so
reason-
nice they wanted to go
that
there
is like-
twice.
dude. I mean, let me just give this guy a little credit for a
Yeah.
second because that's like true art, man.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's like taking a song and making it bigger than just like here are the lyrics of the song. It's like there is like a true movement behind what we're trying to create here, and like I love art that is like intrinsic.
Yeah.
You know, like that. And I
too.
just that's so cool, man. Like
Thank you.
so
Yep.
cool, Nate.
Yeah.
That's spot
Love
on.
how your brain and your band work, man.
Thanks,
It's so
man.
cool.
Like, and that's exactly what you nailed it. It's like the only reason why the jam works is because we've
it's
been
so
there
comfortable.
before.
Yeah, yeah, that's so
And
cool.
Your music is very similar to that.
Thanks.
To where like it's the form, the feel is set. You may go into something else quick, but you guys always like come back to that
Yeah.
trope.
Back twice.
Yeah.
You come back twice.
You ring the doorbell.
You
right?
always come
I
twice.
was just about to go there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
similar concept.
But it's
I think.
it's a concept that you can apply to anything, right? I mean, like look at this podcast. The first time I
Yeah.
walked into this room, I was like, I hardly know these guys. But now here we are.
Here we are.
And
you-
it's
and you were
more
here-
comfortable every
and you didn't
time.
even know that we were like a band that shows up late at that
No,
point.
I didn't
So
know
you were just
anything
here,
about
like
these
30
guys.
minutes alone.
I was alone with Logan hanging out.
Yeah.
Should have known.
They don't call him Punctual Benny for nothing.
But it's
Careful,
a
that
concept
is a
that can be applied
dangerous
to
word.
so many things.
Yeah.
That's
Talk about
And it's the
conflict
quality.
resolution.
it's the quality of a great songwriter to do something like that.
Great
Yeah, for
transition,
sure.
dude.
Yep.
Claps.
I was hoping
Yeah.
somebody would pick up.
Yeah,
on
was
that
that.
fucking
awesome.
brilliant.
I got a
Yeah.
question for you guys though. What qualities do you look for in a songwriter? Like, what to you guys stands out that separates a great, a Dylan, from anybody else?
I'll just start. I mean, for me, it's the translation of the human experience into something that just kind of
Hell yeah.
gets me,
Fuck yeah.
you know, because I feel like that's constantly what I'm searching for. Every day, I'm, you know, in the mediocrity of your routine. I think you can get to the point where it's like, you know, I'm looking for something to inspire me, to remind me that this is more than just the job, and that there's a tomorrow to live for. And for me, music is that in a big way. And I really get with songs that, you know, take something that I'm used to experiencing, whether it's like a tough day on the job or, you know, getting rejected from a girl.
You're used
By a
to
girl.
that, bro.
Or, you know, a nostalgic reminding me of an experience from my childhood, you
Yeah,
know?
for
Or,
sure.
and it's that kind of stuff that I think really, you know, sticks with me and that I keep going back to.
Yeah.
Love that, man.
What about you?
Oh, for me, what characteristics in a songwriter?
Yeah, like what do you look for in terms of somebody
Yeah.
who speaks to you? Because I think there's a certain amount of relatability that needs to be there. It has to
Yeah.
be something that is tangible that you can feel, right? I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I mean, for
Think-
me,
yeah.
yeah, originality and just thinking
Yeah.
outside the box, like
Yeah.
being okay with putting your thoughts and ideas out there,
Yeah.
and like being okay with getting some negative feedback, some positive feedback, like some people that are fucking thrilled,
Yep.
and being okay with that. And that can also be something where you're going on a walk and like you're just admiring, you know, the nature, the surroundings, the geese flying, and like just those small things that can then stimulate a thought or like something that reminds you of, you know, your past or whatever, that can then stem into a song and get inspiration from just, you know, your daily life. So it's like tapping in, being present, originality, and like taking risks.
Yeah. Yeah, originality of something that is relatable.
Yeah.
certainly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All good answers.
How about you?
Popcorn me. I would say, like, some of my most favorite songwriters write it on a guitar or a piano very simply,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
and then build from there. And like that,
Is that the composition stage? Is that what you'd call it?
yeah, but in a sense where it's so simple. Like, simple has a negative connotation sometimes, but you can get so simple that you actually dissolve everything else, and it's like its purest form, and that pure form is their soul. And like, you know, some people that just do acoustic, you know, Mandolin Orange or Watch House is a great example. Like the chords are simple, the rhythm, the melody, but it's coming from a place, and the place that it comes from like ends up driving another melody that they come up with. So my favorite songwriters are those that start very simple and don't shy away from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. I mean, simplicity is beauty.
It
you
is.
know?
Sometimes doesn't it mean just stripped down to few parts
Yeah.
in its pure form? Like in cooking, sometimes it just means not fussed up with technique, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you get the best. You're
Like if it tastes good with salt, put salt on it.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
honoring the true
Yeah.
ingredient that it came
Yeah.
from,
it up.
the starting point, and
I love
Zulu.
that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for me, I mean, the only other thing, like, I agree with everything that everybody's said so far, right? Like, but a song, to me, I love something that just, like, has a great melody to it, and, like, in terms of, like, the lyrical delivery. Like, I need that. Like, I get really turned off on a song if it's, like, the vocal melody that is accompanied by all this great music. Like, sometimes in jam music, like, if like the chorus is like it's a little like weak sounding, like I'm usually like, all right, this is like, you're not getting in, like that doesn't touch me. I like your grooves, but like I don't love your songs. And I think like it is important to have like a really, in my opinion, in some of my favorite songs, like I love like like Hey Jude by like like the Beatles and like Paul, like
Yeah.
like why does everybody love that song? Because like at this certain point it turns into a chant, which is like so communal, it's so simple, and it's just this like na 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 na, right? Like, and everybody can interpret that, feel it. It's like, and it's just about this beauty of a melody that can bring us all together. That's just like, it's not real words. It's just a true feeling,
man.
you know what I mean? It doesn't need to necessarily be dressed up in like all deep philosophical like things. And like, I think like, that's what I love. And it's like what I mean from a melody. I think ultimately my dad would be into this because he like says that RADO has like this chanty vibe sometimes where like people just can like really get into it. And it feels like you're singing with like a group of people, and it becomes like really like meditative. And I love a song that like really delivers on that value outside everything that you guys have talked about, because I can't say that those are the only types of songs that I
love
like,
that.
but
Yeah.
those are huge for me in my life, like anthems.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into it then. Who are your idols? Who are the people that you look at? I mean, I think there's some people who are universally noticed.
I'll check the notebook.
And I'm sure people will have some obscure ones as well, but I'll start with you. Well, who are your top?
Or
you
who
know,
wants
are
to
the
go
guys?
first?
Well,
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to introduce a funny little concept,
All
which
right.
is songwriters as individuals, which obviously exist, and songwriters as
I like
bands.
that.
Dude,
Yeah.
And
Like
I
that.
So I
have
went
like
band,
that. No.
songwriter,
Is
what they
a-
play.
is
I
a
did like little-
songwriter a genre or is a songwriter a individual?
Both.
All the
Deep.
above.
That's
Both.
deep.
I think the
Yeah.
language allows for both, and it's become in like the folk world more of a genre. I'll start because I'm talking.
My boy. Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah. Note taker.
My favorite songwriter, as in the genre, but also maybe, I don't know, it's just him and his guitar, is Jeffrey Martin. Do you guys know him at all?
No,
No.
honestly, no.
Okay.
Let him
I'm s-
teach.
Yeah.
Please educate.
He is unbelievable. It's just, he was an English teacher, and he was telling his kids to go follow their dreams. And his story is like, his kids finally said, like, why don't you follow your dreams? Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
why
Yeah.
don't you follow music? And he was like, you're so right.
Is he the real life version of Jack Black from School of Rock?
No, because he's very much an introvert,
Got
which
it.
is really interesting. But like his mind is beautiful, his music's beautiful, the lyrics, it's like I was saying, the simple yet complex. And he's his partner Anna Tivol is on a lot of his songs. She's also an incredible songwriter, but for me, Jeffrey Martin is the GOAT for lyricism, of hitting you to your core of wherever you are in your life.
Goat? You're gonna goat
Damn.
him?
I'm
None of
goating
us
him.
know
That
him.
is-
Yeah,
You're gonna goat him?
I'm goating
I'm
him.
gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this guy out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then singer songwriter. This was hard. Like, I want to say Tedeschi Trucks Band. Mike Madison, who's a backup singer, writes some of the music.
Yep.
Susan writes
One of the
music.
best soul singers alive.
Agreed. Derek obviously writes a lot of music, but I think for Trusetto and how we create music, it's from what I've learned from them, it seems like it's very similar. And their
I could see that
progression-
influence. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
we've chatted a lot about them. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've had some sessions and all that type of stuff, and then knowing Trusetto and
I love
how you guys formulate. Yeah.
Love
Absolutely.
TTB. Love that example too. I mean, I came from my mom's from Macon, Georgia, and the Allman Brothers are from there. So that music's rooted in my blood. That's what I listened to all the time growing up, and it feels like Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi are inherently tied there. But the band, obviously having that kind of flair, that southern rock kind of dirtiness and grime to it, also is so jazzy.
Yeah.
And the kind of fusion, I think, is what makes TTB so
Yeah.
cool.
100%.
It feels like a lot of collective writing in that band, and I say that blindly, not knowing much about
No,
their
it's
writing
very true.
format,
It's
but
very
it feels
true.
like everybody gets a bit of a voice.
Well, and Derek and Susan, it's where that starts, right? It's
Yeah.
like watching them on stage is like two people like making love through music almost.
Yeah.
The way they
Yeah.
listen
That
to
was
each
my
other.
first Red Rock show.
Oh, really?
Damn.
Double
TTB,
Rainbow,
eh?
2011.
all the way
Yeah.
across.
13 maybe. But
Damn.
yeah, and like as they've evolved too, the horn sections are also doing more like
They got percussion,
trippy
they got-
segments, and
Yeah.
like they're evolving with their sound, which is like so cool to see. But yeah, so Tedeschi Trucks Band, Jeffrey Martin.
I was surprised you
Claps.
didn't say Billy Strings based
Who's
off of
that?
you love him. I was so surprised. I
William
thought that was going to
Strings.
come up.
No.
William
Yeah.
Apostle.
Well,
I
Willem
thought that
Apostle,
might
yeah,
come
thank
up.
you.
Couldn't
and
see
I-
that as
No.
Nate's top.
Yeah, his
Really?
Last name
I
Strings.
do love Billy, but I think he's just like a
He's a-
savant guitarist, and he's a great songwriter, obviously.
Yes.
But
Legendary.
it seems like everyone else fills in the gaps of what he's written, and it's not a very collaborative but it's the nature of the genre, like with bluegrass music, where with horns that have more low end and keys or whatever it is, like there's chances to do more like segmented melodies too.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So I can't
Yeah.
put him at like my Rushmore.
No
Yeah,
Rushmore, no
bluegrass
tree.
is more of a communal
It
type
is.
of music.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
But I love
is.
bluegrass so much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Shout out to Billy.
Mart, what about you, Mart? I'm
Oh.
curious.
He's got a big smirk on his face. I wonder what's going on in that brain of his.
I mean, I have a ridiculous list. I'm not even going to bore you guys, but my number my number one ever.
What you got?
My favorite songs, Steely Dan, written by Donald Fagen, and Walter Becker. So again, a duo of sorts.
Yep.
And if you read about how they interacted, there's a whole rabbit hole you could go down. But a lot of what Donald Fagen said is like he couldn't finish songs without Walter. They were so, simpatico. They were, they both were each other's lifeline in a way. Sure. And, part of like when Walter Becker was struggling with his drug addiction and Donald Fagen was writing his solo albums and he had writer's block had a lot to do with, Walter not being there as a part of that. And, their songs to me are tragic and dark and skeevy, and there's like this depth to that I see in myself and a lot of dudes out there. And they're sort of like introspective, like, call out to that dark soul, that the dark passenger is something that I think is like, especially as you grow older,
Yeah.
it becomes better for me. Like the songs become.
Is that a Steely Dan Dark Passenger?
I
Or
don't.
did you just come up
it's-
with that?
That is that's not my idea.
Oh, okay.
It's a concept, but
It's beautiful.
yeah.
That's for
Yeah,
another
that's
cool.
for
another
another
pod.
pod.
Yeah. I
Hello.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Who else you got on there?
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't
Nice.
not mention Tom York because of just the weirdness of it,
Sure.
and
Sure. Yeah.
how ethereal the lyrics can be, and I love that in a sense too. And I can't not say
Come on.
Robert Hunter,
Yeah, it had to
Yeah, of
happen.
course.
I was waiting.
Jerry
That's
Garcia,
what we're
Yeah.
getting at.
and John Perry Barlow has to be in the
Yeah.
That's
conversation too.
respect for the Barlow shout out because he does not get enough credit in the
Yeah.
Grateful Dead,
Yeah.
at least in the bigger.
Some of my favorite songs are JPB songs.
Yeah, I think that's
Mm.
so true, and I mean, for what it is, yes, we're a jam band, but like you have to give some credit to the Grateful Dead on what they did in terms of like, not just like, and I think like that is that question that you started with. It's like, is it the band or is it the individual? And I think it's like those songs got a lot of power from the band, but like those songs would be beautifully played over an acoustic guitar. And that's all you
it's
need.
poetry, man.
It is.
It is pure poetry sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's like the lyrics are so burned into my mind in some
Yeah,
cases.
for sure.
They're it's to me, it's just like it's America.
Well, you
like when
grew
I'm
up
driving,
with the Dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, dude.
I
It's
just-
like you
it's-
get in fucking like the open road, and it's like I kind of want to throw on the Grateful
Yeah.
Dead right now because it's just like that adventure of like an Americana that existed before our time, and like for like talking about simpatico, like for Hunter to trust Garcia to deliver the lyrics with the overtone in which he did, like the mutual understanding and trust and collaboration is so apparent there that it's like I don't know. I have goosebumps talking about it because it's like those are like my bedtime stories that like my parents would play because I grew up with the Dead. You know, it's like that shit it's so haunting. Direwolf, like like all those songs are like these are real stories that you can tell your kids that are like fables. Like, what are we doing here? It's incredible. Music.
The last thing I'll say about them too is like, I mean, every lyric is like
it hits.
the bridge, the chorus, everything. Like sunlight splatters. You know, just the little things that
dipped
you
in moonlight. You know, it's beautiful.
Lady fingers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you hang on to these
So good.
things and how the imagery of it.
That's it. That's it to me too. It's like there's a lot of like visual engagement with the Grateful Dead lyrics where it's like the dire wolf, like even one of my favorite writers of all time, you know, Game of Thrones, like he loves the Grateful Dead because he loves Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia. It's like it's found its way into like pop culture in this really interesting
My wife is like,
way.
you're gonna slip the Grateful Dead and everything, and I was like, no, but babe, it's really
happening.
George R. Martin loves the Dead.
Yeah, it's like
all
insane.
over the
Only
place.
podcast.
And
I'm
it-
only
yeah.
slipping in podcast.
In like all the like the art that's been created, I mean like the movement that like their songs have started. Like think about Terrapin. There's like my favorite fucking weed store in Denver
60
is
years.
named after a Grateful
60
Dead
years.
song.
Yeah.
The
60
ripple
years.
effect right
Yeah.
there.
What about you?
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah. What about you, Benny?
Man, I got some classics.
Yeah, let's hear some
Yeah.
classics.
Yeah,
I was
taking
gonna
it
go some
back.
classics.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's
taking
where-
it back. Some
Let
big
him teach.
influences. Yeah, so we got Pink Floyd, Roger Waters.
Yeah.
Oh,
you like
heard of him?
Waters? I like
Heard of
Waters.
him?
I think
guitarist,
I think today is
songwriter.
Animals actually anniversary,
Oh,
which
shit.
is an album that he wrote.
Yeah, that's cool.
shit.
That's cool.
Well, damn! Shout out to
Rogers.
that.
Rogers a wild man. But go
Damn.
ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, so like Pink Floyd reminds me of the rock opera and what we're writing, and I feel some similar influences. And like I've gone deep on all of their music. There's so much you can go through. Oh my gosh! But that shit goes deep too. I mean, it connects with what we were just talking about.
Totally. Totally.
And yeah, so like major influence on that, and just how do you bring emotion into the music, into the flow, into the story, into a lot of
And
just,
Floyd
like,
was
also,
ahead
like,
of their time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean, this
dude,
was about
legendary.
This Animal was about like capitalism being a disease.
Yeah.
And how timely was that, right?
Shit,
In the
damn.
late 70s, like they were and it
I
was
mean,
kind,
and today.
it was kind of based off of Animal Farm, right?
Yep,
Which is of course
yep.
about Stalinism, not capitalism.
Yeah.
But there's so many
There's so much. I
parallels.
mean, there's big parallels.
And talk about heady, like these guys. Who came to band practice and was like, "Yeah, guys. So have you read
Well,
Animal Farm?"
Floyd had a lot of problems though
Yeah.
in their band in terms of ego because like Roger Waters was like so far out like that people didn't get his vibe and he would just be like
Well, and that's a sad
and
riff.
he's and yeah, it was a sad riff.
Roger Waters doesn't want to be around the other guys now, right?
Yeah,
And
they won't
Gilmour,
play.
me,
They
they're all
won't play.
legends, but
Yeah,
it's
I
like, yeah, it's a
agree.
bummer.
But
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know. So you see that happen with some of those older bands. I think it's
That's
just
a
a lot of
bummer,
male ego. Just
Yeah.
like getting like
Lot of
in the
wieners.
fucking way,
Yeah.
dude.
Too many wieners. I'm
Yeah.
seeing some other names on here, Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got Tool Maynard,
What'd you call him?
guitarist Maynard, Maynard,
And he wrote "Me Boy."
Michigan boy, dude. He's a
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio boy as well. Fun
Me
fact.
boy.
Not
Interesting.
Me Boy.
Me boy.
Yes.
Nice.
Ben
Tool-
just being like,
Tool's-
"That's me boy, dude."
Tool is one of those bands that everybody tells me to see, and I know
the
nothing.
same way,
Everybody's
dude.
like, dude, you
Same,
gotta
bro.
see
Elliot.
Tool.
Same, bro.
And
We
I-
have
here
to
we
go. We're gonna go to our first Tool
Let's
concert.
go to
We're gonna all
I've never
go,
been. I've never been. Can I
Yeah.
come?
I've never
Can I
been
Ben
come?
either.
can come.
You
Wait.
meet somebody who likes Tool, and they love
Yeah,
Tool,
dude.
man.
I've
A
never
me-
been either because their
Amin
tickets
loves
are like
Tool.
$700.
Let's wait for the Sphere. Let's go
All
to the
their
Sphere.
albums though. Their
That's
albums.
the
You can
last
buy
band
those.
I
Nah,
wanna see
dude,
at the
Kenny
Sphere.
I heard their
Chesney
vid-
is doing 4 years.
I know.
Yep. And then we got another classic,
Yeah.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
course.
Maurice
Ooh,
White,
let's go.
The drummer,
the
dude.
drummer.
Yeah.
Writing a
Yeah.
lot
One of the
those
best.
Oh,
yes.
the drummer
But-
did it, huh? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yep.
Huh.
And so a lot of simplicity, a lot of funk, a lot of feel, a lot of groove.
That
And
horn
that's
section too.
Oh my
Sometimes
gosh,
I
they are
listen,
horny.
dude.
Yeah.
I listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sometimes I'm like, how did this come out of somebody's brain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
is literally
It's so
like
cool.
I
Yeah.
feel
So
like I'm
groovy.
listening to Jesus Christ, like
Yes.
embodied through music.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And it's just got
Dipped-
those
so
dipped
tight,
in cocaine.
so
Yeah.
perfect.
yeah, for real,
You don't
bro.
understand how it can sound that good. I mean, talk about people that like really got into the studio and were scientific with it. Perfection. You mentioned
Yeah.
perfectionists.
Yeah.
I think about Steely Dan too. They were relentless
Yeah.
with taking thousands
Yeah.
of takes in the studio, right?
Hundreds.
Mm.
It's insane.
What about you,
All
Elliot?
right. Yeah.
I can't believe this one got this far. There's a movie about him right now going around, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh,
but
Bob.
we got to bring up Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
Bob.
I love Bob.
Born in the Iron Range of Minnesota, a Minnesota legend. Just the ultimate blue collar. He's got this
Speaking
crazy
true.
voice, but he's got this poetic vision. I mean, Bob Dylan is 1-1 in my mind. I remember
I agree.
Blood on the.
And his songs are everywhere.
His songs are everywhere. Mhm.
Grateful Dead also covered them.
Right. I mean, you can't look into rock music without seeing the influence of Bob Dylan. And
Better than Timothy Chalamet?
better than Timothy Chalamet.
All right.
dude. Blood on the Tracks was a
I was
record that I
surprised by
heard
that,
from
too.
like a very young age that just inspired the shit out of me.
Now I
That's
feel
you
that,
want a
yeah.
road trip record? That's my
Ooh.
1-1 road trip record right there. So Bobby
We'll
D
throw that
has to be on there. One that I feel like
It's my
doesn't
namesake,
get
dude. That's who I'm named after.
respect,
It's Bob Dylan.
is Ray Davies of the Kinks. I think the Kinks are a band.
Oh.
And his brother Dave Davies.
okay.
If you want to talk
Heady-
about
heady
people
select.
disagreeing in the rock
Wow.
world,
Wow.
Ray
yeah.
Davies
Kinks.
was one of the most influential cats, and his brother Dave. I mean, again, you need that person to bounce ideas off of, but
Were they homies or not?
they hate each other now. But
It's
boy,
like the
when they were clicking,
That's like the Robinson brothers, right?
yeah, or the Gallagher brothers. You know, it's like
Their Oasis is touring.
Oasis,
I know.
isn't it?
I know.
Isn't it?
Well, Ray and Dave are about 95 years old at this point. But
Yeah.
I think that you talk about the British invasion, you talk about the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones, and the Kinks always get left off of that conversation. And I think they...
No, I feel
I
that.
don't know, dude.
All right, that's fair. I think the Kinks are the most underrated rock and roll
respect.
band of
It's
all
like
time.
the modern day
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah, I
in a
mean,
way.
dude, they stretch 60s, 70s,
For that
80s.
genre.
They
That's
grew
fair.
with the sound.
That's fair.
They have
That's
a
fair.
fucking plethora of records.
Yeah.
I might be a little biased. I
No,
grew
I
up
dig
listening
it.
to that.
Dude,
so
I went
No,
deep
dude, I
on the
love
Kinks
that. That's
too.
what we
I
need.
love
Bring
the
that
Kinks.
shit to the
Got
table.
kinky.
and
no
and they
doubt.
always get left off the list, and I'm like,
They do.
Let's
Don't
appreciate
leave
the
them off.
Kinks
That's
for a
fair. That's
Yeah,
good.
I like
That's
that
solid.
one.
Who else we got
Who
on
else
there?
we got? I'll rip through them quick. I mean, Van Morrison's great. I think Prince,
Prince
underrated.
gets
Prince.
Prince,
Yeah.
the guy played 27 instruments. Okay,
Yeah,
he's a fucking
so
legend.
he's so good.
Overrated.
You think overrated?
Them are fighting words.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of Prince, but I
I-
respect.
Sorry.
I
I think
respect
what
I
it.
think
Prince-
he's kidding, guys.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
The
No, I don't listen to a lot of Prince.
JK.
the 80s, the 80s had some weird effects on.
If I lived
Prince.
back then, I would get it, but it's just hard for me in this perspective.
Yeah.
To,
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but don't you love his 3 great songs?
yeah,
I'm gonna murder you.
I'll
Please
tell you.
murder me. No, and I've so many musician friends that like
I agree.
that love him so much and have like
Tried
sorry,
to turn
keep-
you
keep
on to
going,
Prince.
keep
No,
going.
Prince
We want
recorded.
drama.
Prince recorded an album.
that Cheshire.
Prince recorded an album when he was 18 years old called The Loring Park Sessions from 1977.
Dude, that's
That
the
is
sauce.
one of the greatest jazz.
Also,
like,
Was that the
dripping-
funk instrumental
drip-
album?
dripping in
Bro,
funk.
from 1977?
yeah,
Dripping
recorded him in.
funk.
It is
Yeah.
the ultimate
Yeah.
in like
Yes,
jazz rock exploration. He plays like
Yeah, it's-
10 different
it's
instruments.
so groovy.
Incredible.
Yep. Yeah.
And then
Damn.
final piece, and I honestly am just dipping my toes into this world, so I don't know how much but Chick Corea, like the compositions.
Yeah.
I just bought a shit ton of Chick Corea vinyl, not knowing anything about it, and the fucking sounds, that the arrangement that comes out of that guy, and I don't know if he's pulling those strings or if it's somebody else, but it's so well put together. So Chick Corea on that.
Nice.
So much better than Prince.
Love
Oh,
it. Love Chick Corea.
Strong,
Love that guy.
strong ending.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll,
All
rip-
right,
I'll
Dilly,
rip
who
mine.
are we-
I'll rip mine. I'm
Yeah,
a
what you
little.
got?
Yeah.
I'm a little sad that these couple weren't mentioned already.
Well,
knowing
bring them-
this
bring
room.
them to
I
us.
mean, if you're
First and foremost, David Byrne, dude.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That is one
I
of
mean,
my
yeah.
favorite ever.
Is that Blink? 182.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Talking Heads. One of my favorite ever songwriters because it's just so different.
Stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's just so different. Ben
Yeah.
said that
Yeah.
earlier.
They
He likes
are a one of one.
uniqueness in
Yeah.
songwriting, and I think like that, like in like it combines everything that we've been talking about because like his simple like some of the Talking Head songs are just like an A minor vamp, and that's the whole song, and he's just got all these crazy lyrics, and if you really dig deep into what the guy's talking about, you have to have a little bit of a abstract understanding of the world to see what he's talking about, but he's really, I think he's always touching on like political satire, and like I think like capitalism's a big like theme, and like he also did this like really cool I forget the name of it, but he did this like thing at Red Rocks that I went to like a couple
Yeah,
years
he's always
ago,
doing
but it was
some
so
artsy
cool
shit.
and it was
Yeah.
like super artsy, but he like incorporates like a lot of like different beats into his music, and like what I love about the Talking Heads is like they're very like they jam like all over the place. Like it's like polyrhythms, right? Like it's really polyrhythm based, and like I think it's really
Love that.
It's hard to do that.
And they use a
too,
lot of
and make it
African
sound cool.
rhythm.
exactly,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
all polyrhythm. And like David Byrne, I think in a way brought like that kind of Afro beat. It, not saying like that, like like jazz and all that stuff doesn't have that in some capacity or funk music, but it was like. In that time in the 1980s, it took like this dude to like bring that to the masses and be like, man, this shit is fucking really cool. And then the other two,
He was a groundbreaker, and also petitioned for David Byrne to get back together with Adrian Blue and all those guys. And
no doubt.
We've mentioned a lot of prestigious rock stars tonight who have issues with their band.
Yeah, for real. And then I mean, I grew up on it, man. It's like. I love the Beatles so much. I love Paul. I love John. I love George. Like I love Ringo. Like I like Ringo. See, that's so.
Come on.
See, that's so whack.
I'll jump on that train.
See, it's
They're a
like,
pop band, not a rock
if
band.
you look, you can call them a pop band. You can call them whatever you want.
They're
but
great.
you can, if
Their
you
music
wanna,
is timeless.
if you want
it's
to
always gonna be there.
call
Yeah.
our segment
I just
the
had to
tree
fart
of
on it.
influence.
Total. White
they're
Album
the
changed my life.
fucking roots,
Founding
brother.
fathers right there.
You know,
Yeah.
like
No.
why?
Seriously.
For me,
Why
it's
did
Rubber
Bob-
Soul and it's Revolver.
Yeah, those two fuck the White Album.
The
is
White Album
incredible, but like
changed me. Yep.
for me, my favorite songwriter in the band, and it's different, is George. He wrote some of my favorite songs. Like if I hear somebody play
George
like
Harrison is the
something,
GOAT. He's the GOAT.
like that song moves me in a way that I've never. I don't know. Like somebody played me that song, and it's like you evolve with it. Even as like an 8-year-old kid, I was like, this song is tragic. It's beautiful. It means something to me. And as like a 33-year-old, like I look at Natasha and I like hear that song. I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like it is connecting the fucking dots.
I'm
and I
gonna
just
connect.
love-
I'm gonna
I love
connect
him
the dots
so
big
much.
time right now because check this out. George Harrison played guitar and wrote songs on Eric Clapton's greatest contribution, in my opinion, to rock and roll, which was Derek and the Dominoes, Layla, and other love songs.
Yeah.
And those songs are constantly played on tour
And Dwayne's on that
by Tedeschi Trucks Band.
Yeah.
Who did that album in its entirety at Lockenfest with Trey Anastasio.
Yes.
George Harrison
Released it
is-
on.
Let me
Released
just-
it on vinyl.
Let me just say
That
this
is
though, really quickly, because I gotta say it. He is the ultimate songwriter collaborator of all time. You have John Lennon and Paul McCartney in your band
Yeah.
Dwayne Allman
that,
too.
that have huge egos and need to get their songs out, and they got to get their records and all of this. And George sometimes makes their songs the kissing touch. Like it really is that. And to be able to sacrifice all of that ego to be like, I am really going to serve. It's the band's song, right? Like, or the songs band, like songs band. Like
Songs band.
he looks at it
there,
like from
yeah.
that point of view, and he finally got the chance to do his own individualized album. And this ties back to your initial question: is it the band or is it the individual? George Harrison's solo album, Leaving the Beatles, grossed more money than John and Paul's combined.
Get out.
For
'Cause it was better.
years, because it was much better. All Things Must Pass was one of the most poetic, like beautiful. Like I listen to it from time to time, man. I have to call my dad when I do because he brought that shit to me, and it like
Damn.
touches my soul.
Shout
in a
out Papa
different
Tutty.
different
Bop
way where it's
daddy.
like time and place. Like that's what great songwriting to me encapsulates. Is like I think of a specific moment in time that I can equate listening to this music for the first time, and it moves you beyond measure.
Brings you goosebumps.
It does.
Yeah.
And
Let
tears.
Dylan cook. Man, that was great.
Yeah. And
Mic
dude,
drop.
Yeah.
I love songs, man.
Yeah, man. Songs are cool.
And I do love John though.
keep
That's my
ripping
guy.
them.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one got me, guys.
Yeah, this is a
this
good
was
one.
a ribbon.
I love this.
Yeah.
Do we have time to
Yeah.
Yeah,
play the
let's play
track?
the
Yeah.
Trusetto
Let's
track.
fade out.
dude.
Yep.
And I'll just hit it. We were gonna do a what's rad, what's
Oh,
not
wait
rad.
a
I'm gonna hit
minute.
them. No, we're not gonna do too many. I just gotta do one.
Do a
What's
rad,
rad?
yeah.
Because this is what I was gonna bring up, and it was just I had this great conversation with somebody on my team today, and it was like really deep and philosophical, and it felt amazing. And that's the raddest shit that you can do, and that's why we have the fucking RADcast.
Love it.
All right,
Boom.
all right.
So just to
let's-
set
let's
this up
hear the
real quick,
tune.
like we were talking about earlier, this song, like most of my all favorite songs, are written on guitar.
Mirrors, right?
Yeah, it's called Mirrors, and it was just a simple
One of those.
and that was the melody, the right hand on guitar, just the rhythm.
Yeah.
And then through there, I wrote, you'll hear it, but here it is.
Let her rip.
Yeah, let her rip. Let's get some of that.
So this initial riff, you're saying you came up with on the guitar. Nice.
This
the
is
main
just
theme.
acoustic guitar,
Nice.
and then you'll hear a horn melody.
Oh, there's that.
There's Nikki G.
Nick who? Nick Jones.
Nikki J, I mean.
Love that. That's so catchy, man. That's like I wake up in the morning and it's in my fucking head.
Beautiful voice. Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Amazing voice.
Just like sunshine. Beautiful day. Walking in the park.
And I must say, the production is crisp.
Yeah.
Her voice just fits right in there with the instrumentation.
These instruments are doubled here.
Here.
Double inch. Even trumpets?
Oh yeah.
What was that? A cymbal?
That was Don, our engineer, played around with some things in the space to make it just not empty space, and it was kind of like pulling a sword out of a stone or some shit.
What made the sound?
A computer.
Oh. Sounds sick.
So is this one tracked, like clicked?
This is click.
Did you go instrument by instrument?
Yeah. After the scratch track. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bring that live, dude. Hell yeah.
Man, your trumpet is so beautifully pronounced in the horn
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
This is Hank Miller on bass.
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom,
What?
boom.
So is this like the jam?
Yeah, it was-
is this the
Yep.
jam
This is
section?
the jam. This is somewhere twice.
Oh, I know that guy.
Oh, there he is, dude.
And like Miles, baby.
Let's go.
On sketches.
So you can hear melody in the background. Da, 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 da. That's like the vocal melody.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and the next one is something I came up in the bathroom of Rocket Space while I was pissing. Here.
Nice. Inspiration constructed.
Oh, a little piss melody. I love it, dude. Now I'm going to hear this every time I'm at the urinal,
Yeah,
for sure.
it helps you pee.
This is what they play for Egyptian monks so that they pee.
building to the guitar solo.
Oh, there's that Nick Jones.
Tone is sick. Playing that PRS.
Dude has some chops.
Caliente, caliente, caliente.
Tasty.
And then the drums go to the ride here. Guitar kind of opens up a little bit.
Build it.
All right, and then here comes the horns with it. So I was telling you.
Oh, a little polyrhythm.
Yeah.
That's like the end of the solo we're talking
Yeah.
about.
In the best way, this kind of reminds me of some of the soloing you'd hear in like a Trey Anastasio band.
I was gonna say
kinda.
tab, dude. Yep. Tab vibes.
Huge
The night
influence.
speaks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tab vibes. Beautiful.
Get out of my brain.
And at the end here, you'll hear Zana Torre with the. Haunting.
Haunting. Great
That
word.
sax.
Yeah. Sad yet beautiful.
Am I lonely still? That is the question.
Boom.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's an
Damn.
awesome
Killer
song.
track,
Yeah.
man.
Oh,
Really
I
can't
love
wait to
it.
hear the
Somewhere
album.
twice.
I got a
February
couple.
22nd.
I got a couple questions, if I can, for a second.
Absolutely.
So y'all did like individualized tracks on that, like doing it one by one. Like, did you enjoy that? Did you like it? We've
Well-
never done that.
Well, we do a scratch track at the beginning where we get all the energy in, and some of those we probably kept from the original.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We kept the drums in all the original. So, like, the scratch track was really just for Easton.
drums,
Easton
yeah.
Tillman on drums, shout out. Absolutely
yeah.
crushed it. And then we would go in and be like, do I want to do that section differently? Usually we did. And we would just kind of record over it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. And like you didn't feel too isolated, like in the, like, because like that's my one fear, right? Like it's like I love to capture it live, like and I feel like sometimes it can, like, this song has such a big live feel to it almost
I will
that
say-
it doesn't
I would say
feel like that, because I was really surprised that you said, like, I can tell because it's very precise that it was individually tracked,
Yeah.
but like there is that really cool rawness and bigness to a live atmosphere that is produced there,
when we
it feels.
laid down the scratch track, we really tried to encapsulate the energy of what it would be live. But you're also, with this studio, you're in different rooms. Like, the horns are in here, the guitar, the drums, you're all isolated. So it doesn't feel like you're playing it live to begin with. It's just for that scratch track, for you all to be able to encapsulate the energy. Then you can go back, close your eyes in the studio again, and just, like, really lean into it feeling live at that point.
I mean, it
Love that.
it just flows so beautifully, man.
Thank
And
you.
like
Yeah.
Nick's guitar solo, that tone on it is so cool.
Insane tone.
What a
Yeah.
great song. So is that the
Stoked for
single?
the
Is that the big one that
No, that's just one of them. You're
just one of
Getting
them?
all of them February
we
22nd.
got
Okay,
7 more.
let's
Yeah.
go.
2.
2-2-2.
Right.
Let's go.
Well, thank you,
Yep.
Nate. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me,
for coming
guys.
on.
Yeah.
This was
was
awesome.
awesome.
Love to
This
pick
is
your
really
brain.
sick. This
Yeah,
is great. So
yeah.
nice hanging out.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
dude. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
RADcast.
All right.
Four.
Radcap.
We out.